he made the right choice. They'll hand it off to their running back, Chris Brown, and Brown is hit immediately. Adewale Agunlie, the rest of the offense for the Tennessee Titans. Up front, a very solid offensive line. They paved the way for Chris Brown, who is 5th in the NFL in rushing. Brown with a 4.9 yards per carry average. And you can see averaging over 100 yards a game. The Titans in a hurry-up offense.
I watched it.
It'll be Brown again. Brown makes a cut. Gets inside for a couple more, brought down by Lance Briggs. Up front for the Bears, a solid front four, led by Alex Brown last week, 4 sacks on Kurt Warner. Outside, Lance Briggs along with Urlacher making a lot of plays for this defense in a secondary that's very active with Azuma and McQuarters on the corner. 3rd and 8.
Is Billy Volek we're watching or Peyton Manning up at the line of scrimmage calling audibles and trying to change things up?
Plenty of time, throw complete. That's Aaron Kinney, the big tight end, but he's short. Tackle on the play by Jerry Azuma, and that'll bring on the punting unit for the Tennessee Titans. So, Tim, they go to that hurry up, and it leads to a 3 and out.
Well, Jeff Fisher will pull anything out of his hat. He doesn't care, and the hurry up, I think, partly is obviously to limit what the defense can do in terms of getting their personnel groups out there, and you got to feel pretty good about a backup quarterback if he can get out there and call plays at the line of scrimmage.
A couple fake punts by the Tennessee Titans this year already. Here comes some trickery right there. As Berlin went in motion, they get it away. McQuarters, he's got some room and runs out of room quickly. He's brought down at the 26-yard line. Tackled by Rob Reynolds. Craig Krenzel, 2-0 as an NFL starter. His numbers don't look great, but you can't argue with the W.
Hey, the guy is a winner. He was 24-3 at Ohio State. And ask Lovie Smith, what does he do good? He goes, does a lot of things good. What does he do great? I don't know if he does a lot of things great, but the guys respond to him, and he's got that intangible, that immeasurable. He just goes out and wins football games.
He manages the game,
Absolutely.
I believe, is the NFL terminology used these days. And the noise increases for Krenzel. Play action. The throw complete to Wade. And Wade has at least 5 yards. Thrown out of bounds by the safety, Lamont Thompson. The rest of the offense up front, 2 big free agents brought in the offseason. Reuben Brown from Buffalo, along with John Tate. Reuben Brown severed the contract in Buffalo, made the switch.
Well, and if anybody's playing good, Ronnie, it's that group up front because Thomas Jones has had a terrific year. He's been out for a couple of weeks, and they haven't missed a beat with Anthony Thomas in the backfield.
Well, pass for the second straight time. Looking for the screen play, and it's incomplete. Brad Castle, the middle linebacker, was right there. We'll bring up 3rd down. 3rd and 6.
You know, the thing with Krenzel, though, and we talked about all those intangibles and immeasurables and all that stuff, and the guy wins games and people respond to him. You look at the last couple of weeks, and I think going against this defense today, there's no question in my mind that he's got to be more effective and more efficient in the passing game. He's got to make some plays.
The Bears show 3 wide outs, 1 tight end. Thomas alone in the backfield. The draw and nothing doing. All the Titans are there, led by Keith Bullock, the Pro Bowl linebacker, and that'll bring on the punting unit for the Bears. So they'll take over at about the 46-yard line. Brown in the backfield. It'll go to Brown from the eye. And Brown pounds it inside. Let's go down to the sideline and check in with our sideline reporter, Jay Glazer.
Well, Ronnie, this week, Chris Brown, he was hobbled by a toe injury. And what the team did, Steve Watterson, the team's strength and rehab coach, he took a piece of plastic like this. He stuck it in the jacuzzi and molded it to mold it over Chris Brown's cleat. What he did then was he took the piece, put it over here on top of the cleat, and that's how he practiced all week. And they end up drilling it into the side of the shoe. Now, he's not wearing it right now, but they have it here just in case that toe starts to hurt him some more. Back to you guys.
All that for one big toe. And there's a throw to Meyer. Meyer will be a few yards short of the first down.
The deal with that cover over the toe is just in case it gets stepped on. And you and I both know we've had our toes stepped on out there, and it doesn't feel good, especially if you've got a bad case of turf toe. And I'm telling you, he earned a lot of respect from his offensive line a couple of weeks ago when they played Cincinnati. His toe was so bad he couldn't even get a shoe on, and took the needle before the game, got the injection, got it numbed up, and went out there and had 30-plus carries in that ball game, and the guys up front really appreciated it.
Third in the AFC in rushing behind Curtis Martin and Priest Holmes. 4 yards on that reception by Meyer. 33, complete to Derek Mason. Let's see how they mark it. It's going to be close. Derek Mason with the most catches in the AFC for a wide receiver. He's second in the entire AFC. Next to tight end Antonio Gates.
And he's
from San Diego.
He's short. That's a heck of a tackle by Jerry Azuma, because this is a tough play. And Azuma is going to run with Mason. Mason's going to be coming in motion. You'll see him here, and he's just going to get out. But watch Azuma come up and make the play and get the tackle before he gets to the sticks. Here's Jerry right there.
Great job of pulling him back.
Yeah, actually was trying to swat that ball loose. That's what these DBs do in Chicago. I mean, they are big playmakers. They come out and they're trying to knock it loose every time. And of course, that again goes back to what Lovie Smith tries to teach: turnovers, turnovers, turnovers on defense. Out here on the edges in the run game.
The Bears have only stopped 2 of 9 fourth down attempts. Meanwhile, the Titans are over 50% in fourth down situations. Brown and Holcomb in the backfield. They'll go with the toss. And he's hit immediately. You see our Fox first down marker. This may be close again, Tim.
It's going to be real close. You talked about him being good on fourth down. Well, they're going to come out here on the edges, but watch the linebackers fill up inside. That's the whole key. See Urlacher coming in. You see Mike Green coming in, and all those guys filling the hole where Chris Brown was trying to run. That's the way to attack him, right on the edges. Good play by those linebackers.
Tim.
Don't underestimate, Ron, this big stop by the Bears defense, and really well executed by 3 guys. The 2 linebackers, Urlacher, Lance Briggs, and then watch Alex Brown over here. Briggs is going to take a block on. He's going to get to the ball. Urlacher is going to close, and then look at Alex Brown fall back inside into the gap. That's how you play short yardage defense, and these guys are fired up. Get them some big confidence going, and they need it here at the Coliseum.
Empty backfield for the Bears. It better come out quick, and it does, nearly intercepted. Andre Dyson on the coverage. Back to the Bears and that big defensive stop.
And again, I applaud Tennessee for going for it and trying to get it out on the edge, and that's what you do against those defensive ends, but you got to give those guys credit on the other side of the ball. They won at the point of attack. Alex Brown did a terrific job against Brad Hopkins, who outweighs him by about 50 pounds.
Second down and 10. Thomas, and they have got nothing going inside with Thomas. Wow. The penetration is just too good.
Well, look at Kevin Carter, Randy Starks, and Albert Hainsworth, and they're jumping into that Bear defense. All of these guys inside. Watch them all penetrate into the backfield. You penetrate into the backfield on those little counters and pulls, you got no chance. That's how you play defensive line. And I'm telling you, Albert Hainsworth and Kevin Carter, I think, can be as good as they want to be.
Yeah. 3rd and 13. Thomas motions out. The pressure. Krenzel's out of the pocket. He's going to run for it. He'll be short. Let's check in with Los Angeles for. Titans will take over here at the 8-yard line. Meyer in motion. They'll throw it out, and it's caught. Drew Bennett, the 4th-year man out of UCLA, and he'll move the chains with a big play. 20 yards on the reception.
Well, in that defensive line, when you get into those passing downs, and obviously that wasn't one, they shook them up a little bit calling a pass there, but that defensive line's got to get consistent pressure, and I think that's one thing that they have gotten. As you look at the sacks right here, this was the big one. When Lovie Smith came in, he saw 18 sacks on the board. He says, we got to get better in that area. They've already surpassed that this year in 8 games with 21 sacks.
They'll go to Brown from the eye. Brown having a rough day, obviously. or a rough start, the Bears know that they got to get after him right away.
Well, they got to get him stopped and stopped early and try to get his confidence down a little bit. And this defensive line is good, and I think that's the thing that shows up on film for the first half of the season. And as I said, that's what Lovey said he had to change. Had to get guys in there, get guys losing some weight, get their speed up. You talk to Urlacher and some of those guys, they say this is the best defensive line he's played in behind since he's been here.
2nd down and 9. Open in motion. Brown with a gash. It closes up. The Brown with a nice pickup. 7 yards.
Jason Bell gets a nice block here at left guard. Let's focus on him, and then Brown is just going to take this thing right up the gut. When he gets that 6'3" going downhill, see the cutoff block there from Jacob Bell on the linebacker Urlacher? That's what sprung it. Just enough. Got his body in between Urlacher and Chris Brown. Chris Brown was able to pick up 6 or 7.
Still bring up a 3rd down and 2. They'll throw the quick slant. It's incomplete. Everyone wants a flag. Coverage on the play by Jerry Azuma. No flag, and that'll bring on the punting unit for Tennessee.
Let's see what Jerry Azuma does here, because he is so explosive coming over the top on this little slant route. It's going to come right out of here, out of the slot. Watch him come down, and Azuma is going to come over the top and get himself a breakup. Let's watch his left arm. Oh, yeah, that's pass interference. He got away with one big time. You pull any cloth like that, you get the guy's body turned. That's defensive pass interference every time. Chicago got away with it.
Darian back deep to receive the punt from Hendrick. Nice kick. Darian all the way back to the 18. He stepped out of bounds close to the 15. That's where they'll mark it.
20. Hard to come back from that.
They go to a 2 tight end set. They'll hammer it with Thomas. He's looking for the edge. Got a little bit of it. Where he's driven out of bounds by Boyman, a pickup of 3. Let's go to Los Angeles and check in with James Brown.
Hey, Ron, the Rams have passed 13 consecutive times before running it twice there. Rookie Steven Jackson taking it 4 yards to pay dirt. 14-0 Rams. Michael Vick had averaged only 2.5 yards per carry against the Bucs defense coming into today. 41 yards here. That set up a 2-yard run by T.J. Duckett. It is now 10-0 Atlanta. Back to Ron Pitts.
Vick is a trick, and Seattle's finding life is awful hard in that division this year. Thomas again.
What is Albert Haynesworth doing? This guy is spending this first quarter in the backfield. I mean, watch him right here. Watch number 92 penetrate. They have not had an answer for him. Look at the get off. Gets rid of Reuben Brown like he's not even there. Forces a cutback, and there's guys waiting right in the hole to make a tackle. He is having his best year by far since he's been a Tennessee Titan.
Second on the team in tackles with 48. A loss of 1, another 3rd down. As you see the conversions there for Chicago, 3rd and 8. The pressure on Krenzel. Krenzel goes down. 3 Titans in on it. Bullock is there along with Castle. And once again, Tim Ryan, defense. Going to have to save the day as it looks here for the Chicago Bears.
They forced 5 turnovers last week against the Giants, so they've certainly got it in them.
Bullock will pass. The long out. And it's incomplete, intended for Ben Troop, the tight end. Bring up 2nd down.
And I think a lot like we talked about with Chicago with early penalties, it's been the same story with Tennessee. I mean, this team has self-destructed at times, so they're going to have to play smarter as this game goes on for the next 3.5 quarters, and they've done a pretty good job so far with the exception of those penalties on the return game, on the big punt return, but it's been the veterans that have come up with some miscues. They got to play smart today.
Bullock, the out, complete to Troop, and Troop is pushed out of bounds. Pickup of 2 yards.
When you see Troop right here who's coming in motion, he's just going to get out. Good job protecting against the blitz as they come up inside. You're going to see Azuma come and just get him out of bounds right there.
Mark that 3 officially. 3rd down and 7 for Tennessee. shut down the last third down attempt with a questionable interference call from Jerry Azuma. They blitz Azuma. They pick it up. Wide open down the field for the first down, Drew Bennett.
Boy, what recognition from Billy Volek back here, because the blitz is going to come over here. Agunlia is not even blocked. Watch him. He's going to come outside. Just enough by Volek to shake him inside, keep his eyes down the field, and get it to Drew Bennett. That's just a terrific job by Volek in recognition, knowing that he had a guy unblocked coming from the overload blitz side, moved enough to his left, while the whole time keeping those eyes down the football field to locate his receiver.
2 starts this year for Volek. One last week against Cincinnati. That's Chris Brown. And, of course, with the MVP, the co-MVP, Steve McNair nursing that bruised chest. Like you mentioned in the open, Tim, they could have gone with him. He would have had to take an injection. But if he takes that shot, now he maybe is 50% next week, and you got a very serious playoff run here, 3 games away from home, all division teams.
That's right. And here's the injury when it happened in Jacksonville. And you're absolutely right. If he takes a hit on that thing or just falls on the football, as I said in the open, he could easily be out another month. You got 3 division games on the road. They'll need Steve McNair.
Get some movement from the Bears D-line. The flag is down, and Chris Brown, he rumbles right down the gut of the Bears defense for a first down, but let's double check the flag.
He went on cadence that time and guessed wrong and paying for it.
Chris Brown, 8 carries for 29 yards. Going deep to Mason. Touchdown! Volek to Derek Mason. 29 yards.
Again, the Bears come with a blitz. You're going to see the linebackers come up inside there, so Volek knows he's got the man coverage to the outside. Azuma on Mason, and look at him adjust to that football while it's in the air. That is a terrific throw, great adjustment, touchdown Titans. So would come here in Tennessee.
Last year he had 1 start, but he played a lot. Azuma to the 25. He's still going. Jerry Azuma with a nice return out to the 35-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline and check in with Jay Glazer.
Ronnie, you were talking before about McNair, whether or not he can inject that area, and he told me before the game the reason why he's decided to sit out is because, number one, it's 2 weeks in a row where he got that same injury to his sternum, and number two, the rehab period is just a lot longer for him now than it had been. But I said to him, what happens if you have to go in? Do you know if you can take a hit? He said, let's hope we don't have to find out.
And Tim, that's always the case. It's not so much the injury, it's the rehab, whether it's a knee, a surgery. The rehab is the traumatic thing. Empty backfield for Krenzel again as Johnson motions out. Pressure. He gets away from one, gets away from another, and throws it out of bounds. He's in the pocket. And there may have been a receiver in the area. Johnson, the fullback, was in that area, so he escapes the intentional grounding call. But as we said, Billy Volek.
Look at that. 5 different receivers in 7 and 9. And he's got a very good feel for this offense. And he'll tell you, he feels confident, knows where to go with the football, has a lot of confidence in his ability, and you can see that showing up out there. And it's amazing what happens to a guy if he just gets reps during practice. It's clear that he got most of them during the week.
The Bears not having any success running the football. A lot of passing. They're going to the slant. Looked to be a mix-up. Krenzel looked outside at Terrell for the go route, but Terrell was inside on the slant.
They have picked something up on Craig Krenzel and his snap count, because watch these guys flying off the football. It's all get off. I mean, they are moving before that ball is even snapped. They picked something up on film, whether it's a hitch by Krenzel or it's something in terms of what Chicago's doing with their motions. They are getting off the football, and this defensive line so far for Tennessee has controlled this game.
Bears are last in the NFL. Converting third down. Pressure again. Kevin Carter will take down Krenzel. Kevin Carter, the 10-year vet. 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. Play action. Looking for the deep one. They throw the inside route. Mason again. And that's what you do when you get a corner deep. you come back and work on them underneath.
Well, and the thing is, too, is they're giving him the big cushion, and here's Azuma, here's Mason, who's going to run down and just run a stop route. But what happens, and this is a timing route, and what happens is Azuma's going to slip. See, and as soon as he slips just a little bit, it's enough to create that separation where Mason can get that football.
17 yards on the pickup. 3 catches, 48 yards already for Mason. Brown trying to squirm his way through. You see he does a good job of finding angles. Mason last week against the Cincinnati Bengals in that win had 8 catches for 85 yards.
It was amazing in the first quarter of that game. Every ball went to Mason, and I think he's one of the guys that benefited from the bye week. He's had to play so much with Tyrone Calico going down. McCarron's obviously was gone in the trade, and he's played a lot, and they've utilized him a lot. He wants the ball every time, but Jeff Fisher told us if anybody needed rest during the bye week, it was Derek Mason.
He's on pace for well over 100 catches. Bullock to throw, another completion. That's the fullback, Troy Fleming, and Fleming went backwards, trying to go forwards. 7-zip here in Nashville. Titans up as we start the second quarter. 3rd down coming up for the Tennessee offense, and the Chicago Bears, Tim, have been outstanding throughout the year on 3rd down defense and ranked 4th in the NFL.
That's right, coming into today, and they've been able to get it done. And I'll tell you why, is because they got speed. Now they've got their backs against the wall here at 3rd and 5. They like to get you in 3rd and 9 and then really come after you.
Shot to Brown, an excellent tackle on the perimeter. That's Lance Briggs. And you're going to hear a lot more of Lance Briggs from here on out because he's making big plays.
He's a really good player. I remember watching him at the University of Arizona. He was making plays everywhere. And watch him. He's got Chris Brown, who's going to come out on a swing route. And they're just hoping Brown can break a tackle, but you're not breaking too many tackles by Lance Briggs. You see him come deliver that shot and explode and wrap up and grab cloth. Guy's a lot better player than even Lovie Smith expected when he got to Chicago.
3rd round pick last year, as you mentioned, from Arizona. Leading tackler on the team. Hendrick kicks it away. McQuarters watches it, picks it up with inside his own 10-yard line. Takes a vicious shot.
Wow. Justin Ina
went down and, what do they say? Wax on, wax off. It's just that easy. R.W. McQuarters paid the price for picking up that one. A-Train with a breakout, almost just brought down by Kevin Carter. Let's go back to that special teams play.
Yeah, not a smart decision by R.W. McQuarters. I want you to watch the football as it comes and the trajectory it's on. No doubt in my mind that ball's going into the end zone. You see it come flying past him right there? He decides he wants to field it, now takes a shot from Justin Ina, and in effect end up losing about 11 yards because that ball goes in the end zone. It obviously comes out to the 20.
A pickup of 6, the nicest run of the day for Thomas. They'll go to Thomas again. And he's hit immediately. Keith Bullock, the Titans' leading tackler and the only defensive player for the Titans to go to the Pro Bowl last year.
Oh, man, does he fill a hole. Look at him just come up inside, and that's what he talked about with Anthony Thomas, that he's going to be there all day. And said the A-Train can run, and he's a power back and likes to wear people down. And Keith looked us right in the eye and said, you know what? I'm going to be there all day, wherever he is. And that time Bullock filled the hole, came up inside, and was right there to meet the A-Train in the hole.
6 carries for Thomas on the day. 4 have been for losses. 3rd down and 5. The dash, the throw, the catch. It's going to be close. Bobby Wade, and that's a great effort by Bobby Wade.
Sure is. See him reach that ball out across. He'll be coming right here out of the slot. Just watch him get to the sticks. You got Woolfolk in coverage. Little angle route right to the sidelines. See him, he reaches out right there. You can see his foot was not past the stripe on the sidelines, but as he reaches the ball out, it crosses the plane of the first down stick.
And that is the first down of the day for the Chicago Bears. You can see our graphic there. The end around to Wade. Wade's got a little room. He's got to get past Bullock. He does that. and gets 5, maybe close to 6 yards. Tank Williams, the free safety or strong safety, brings him down 7 yards on the pick.
Well, and they had everybody fooled except for Bullock. See, he's the only one that's out there in space now trying to track Wade down. And Chicago will run a lot of those reverses, ghost reverses, where they're just trying to keep people honest on the backside.
Second down and 3. They fake the end around. They give to the big man, Thomas, and it worked. He rumbles for a first down. 8 yards for Thomas.
Well, and got him with a little misdirection play. Again, these guys are all coming off the ball. Watch them fly inside. You see that? Just enough for Anthony Thomas to get up and use his blocks and pick up the first down.
Thomas starting again for the injured Thomas Jones. He's got his turf toe of his own. And battling that for the second week. That's Thomas again. Last week against the New York Giants, 28 carries for 110 yards for Anthony Thomas and 2 touchdowns. The first 100-yard game of the year. And he's got a contract that's up at the end of this year.
Yeah, and I really liked Anthony Thomas when he came out of Michigan. I mean, he was a great college running back and has put up a couple 1,000-yard seasons in Chicago. And Thomas Jones has come in. He took his spot, but Anthony Thomas now is not hanging his head. When he's had his opportunity, he's made the most of it, as you said now in the last couple of weeks.
Krenzel to throw the deep in and out of the hands of David Terrell.
Well, you got to catch that.
You can't put it on the money any better.
And there's Terrell. He's going to get out in the zone and try to get behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties. You see him just shadow in front of Tank Williams right there. This ball right on the money. You got to catch that. And when you give Craig Krenzel time up front, which we haven't seen has been too few and far between in this football game, his receivers have to make plays. Stay confident. And tell you what, he plays up that underdog role as good as anybody. And he's got his team believing it.
3rd and 9, Berrien in short motion. They're looking for the screen. It develops late, but they get it. Thomas is going to be short. And Keith Bullock in on the tackle once again.
He's been everywhere, and that's why he's the leading tackler down here, and that's why he goes to Pro Bowls, because he gets all over the place. Here's him here, and then I want you to watch Kevin Carter get down the field as well. Big number 93. See Bullock come up and take out Kreutz. Now look at 93 coming in to finish things off too. Guys do a great job of.
Bennett in motion. 1st and 10 for the Titans. The wheel route, he's got Bennett wide open, and they can't hook up. Azuma on the coverage. And you mentioned, Tim, both Rivera and Jeff Fisher on that same Super Bowl team back in '85 for the Chicago
Ron
Bears.
Right there, 59, and Jeff Fisher there, 24, that were teammates together on that great '85 team. And they're just, you see a little highlight of both of them there. And Jeff was a terrific punt returner now when he was there. Career ended prematurely, and it's kind of funny, they both went through Philadelphia to get their coaching stuff underway. Jeff was a DB coach in Philly under Buddy Ryan, and of course Ron's been there the last 3 years or so as their linebacker coach under Jim Johnson.
Brown with a gash. They'll bring up a long 3rd down. Let's go to Los Angeles and check in with JB for this update.
All right, Ron, finally the Buccaneers are on the board. Take a look at Brian Griese. Nice play action. Drills that 25-yarder to Michael Clayton. Clayton's 3rd touchdown of the season. Griese, 6 of 8, 68 yards on the drive. 17-7 Atlanta. That 5 minutes left in the half. Back to Ron Pitts.
All right, JB, hope that foot heals, man. Be careful going through airports. 3rd down and 5 for the Titans. Bullock complete to Bennett, but Bennett looks to be short of the 1st down. Let's see where they mark the forward progress.
They're going to measure that, I bet.
That's from our line.
Training, he could go do it. He's that kind of guy.
He did that at UCLA and then went out to practice the next day. Floyd Reese, the Tennessee general manager, said, hey, there's got to be something in this kid if he can do that. Intended for Aaron Kinney. The crowd wants a flag. They won't get it.
This is the first time Aaron Kenny's been back in about 5 games with a calf injury. Let's watch him right here. No, he was actually the outside guy that came out. No, that's just feet getting tangled up. Both guys playing the football. Good no call by the official.
Good coverage there by Briggs coming over the top. Second and 10. Oh, checking off. Bears looking for run blitz. Cut back Brown. And Brown is all the way down to the 35-yard line. Finally brought down by Mike Green. The ball is loose. The mad scramble. The Bears say they have it, and they do. Alex Brown recovers the fumble.
Well, they catch him in a blitz here. Urlacher going the backside, so the hole is there. Shakes out Briggs. Now let's watch the fumble. You got Mike Green on him right there, and then looks like Alex Brown pulls that thing loose.
I think he's down.
Now let's see if Krenzel can capitalize like they did in the second quarter last week after the defense gave him the football.
A lot of shifting as this offense has done all year. They'll hand it to the A-Train. He's got a hole, and the A-Train with a nice run on first down.
And remember last week, they were down 14-0 in that game to the Giants, and the defense started wreaking havoc and forcing turnovers in the second quarter, and the offense responded. 13 points off of those turnovers. It's Terry Shea, the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. And you'll see a lot of the motions, a lot of the stuff that the Rams do that they did in Kansas City, and really, a lot of it's just window dressing.
That's right.
And to get the defense confused.
5
See
yards
the guys
on the
moving
pickup.
everywhere?
Yep.
See all this stuff?
Coming from Kansas City, he spent the last 3 years there as the quarterback coach. They did all that with another draw to Thomas, and Thomas is brought down by Castle, the middle linebacker. May have gotten 2.
And this is the area of the field that you don't want your quarterback to make a mistake. I mean, with Edinger as a kicker, you figure you got 3 on a field goal, and you want Krenzel just to play within himself now.
Don't
do anything crazy.
Stay close.
That's right.
They got hairy last week in New York. They were down by 14 at one point, but they never let it get any worse than that.
They got to find their tight end over here, Dustin Lyman.
3rd down and 3. Wade in motion. Look for the quick one. They dump it off to Thomas. Here comes a hit, and that won't get it done. The corner, Samari Roll, at 175 pounds, comes up to take on the 235-pound Anthony Thomas. Major reconstructive knee surgery. You draft him anyway, and he comes up for you. Ball is loose again. Recovered by R.W. McQuarters. The second fumble for Chris Brown in the same quarter. And once again, the Bears capitalize with good field position.
Boy, and it's just that mentality. Guys are coming up and knocking the football loose. This is the second time today. Brown's going to get a nice hole up inside, cutting off of his center. There it is right there, knocked out by big Tommy Harris. Knocked out by the rookie defensive tackle. And look at him just slide in there and get his left arm on the football right there and just knocks it out. And Chris Brown not really holding that thing tight going through traffic. I've always been a big believer. When you're running through traffic, cover that thing up. Put both hands on it.
Good time for a shot at the end zone coming off of a turnover. Wade in motion. They'll stay on the ground. And when you can get that many yards on first down on the ground, that works too. And Chris Brown, you see, putting his head down, dejected after those 2 turnovers.
Again, look at him holding the ball loosely in that right arm going through the traffic. And Tommy Harris just able to lay out and get a hand on it. And you know what? Chris Brown really, really wants to play well in this game.
Yeah,
he grew up in Naperville, Illinois.
Right.
Huge Walter Payton fan. And this was the game he's had his sights set on.
Still very good friends with Jarrett Payton, Walter Payton's son, who was on the Tennessee Titans practice squad. Thomas. Not much inside. Initial hit by number 90, Randy Starks, the rookie out of Maryland. Last week, turnovers were big against the New York Giants.
Well, it won them the game is what it did. And again, I think the most important thing is that the offense were able to come in and capitalize and get some points on the board. This defense knows they're a good football team. And Lovie Smith told us that last night. He says, we're not just trying to hang in there. Yeah. We're trying to go out and dominate. And over the last 3 or 4 weeks, this defense has been pretty darn good.
Well, Tim, they're faced with another third down situation, 3rd and 3. They'll go to Thomas again. He's looking for the corner. He's got the corner and then some. And a first down. And Anthony Thomas, for a big man, once he gets that edge, it's like a runaway truck.
Well, and he's going to kick it outside. And watch Bullock get just stiff-armed to the max right here by Anthony Thomas. Pow, right to the face mask. Sit down, and then the A-train picks up the first down. And he runs hard.
Funny how those Chicago Bear running backs know how to use that stiff arm.
The old 34 had the most lethal stiff arm of all time.
He'd stiff arm you so hard, make your mama feel it. 1st and 10. They'll go to A-train again. Not much. Antoine Odom. And you see a lot of young players on this Titan defensive unit.
He's that extra 2nd-round pick that Herm Edwards had to give up.
2nd down and long. Throw outside to Thomas. And Thomas is close to the Titans' 15-yard line. Pick up a 4.
And I think Kevin Carter, with this young defensive line up front, they seem scared to want to put the football up in fear that he'll make a mistake.
3rd down and 11. That's why I thought they would try it right after the turnover on 1st down. Thomas out of the backfield. The throw, incomplete, intercepted. Andre Dyson. And Dyson is looking to go to the house. Finally brought down by Thomas. Another missed opportunity for the Chicago Bears. Tennessee with 2 timeouts here at 1:44 left in the first half. They'll go to the run. That's Holcomb. So with the last 2 fumbles to Chris Brown, hey, cool off a little bit. Have a seat, son. The last 3 possessions you see there. 1 punt and 2 fumbles by Chris Brown. Titans going to their hurry-up, 2-minute offense. Around the corner, nice pressure, but the throw is complete to Shad Meyer. Let's go down to the sideline for Jay Glazer.
Well, guys, Billy Volek, it seems, is going to have to go the rest of the way without one of the more consistent blockers on this team. And Brad Hopkins, he went in for x-rays, has 2 broken bones in that hand, and he is out for the game.
All right, Jay, you saw Jason Matthews in there.
That's a big loss.
Thomas alone in the backfield. 4 wide out look. They'll go with the quick out, and it's knocked down. Intended for Bobby Wade.
He's lucky he didn't throw that anyway, because Andre Woolfolk was all over it on that out, ready to break up and get it.
Remember, the Bears have had to use 2 timeouts prematurely, just trying to get things lined up. So they're down to 1 timeout left here in this drive.
And, of course, they got to work the edges and get this ball down the field to try to get into some field goal range. Again, 2nd down, take a shot deep.
Got Terrell up the sidelines. He tries to throw it out. And recovered by Tennessee. Travis LeBoy off the hit from Kevin Carter.
The ruling on the field, the ball was fumbled, recovered by Tennessee, 1st down.
And he's giving the Bear offensive line headaches right now. 41 seconds left, 2 timeouts. The ball back in the hands of Billy Volek. And he puts it in the hands of Derek Mason for a nice pickup.
And we told you, if Krenzel gets time, guys can get open. And this is the deep ball that they were looking for. David Terrell, wide open. There is nobody back there with him. There's no safety over the top. And it becomes a moot point because Kevin Carter gets himself another sack.
See, the turnovers evened out today, but for the Bears, they just haven't been able to make the turnovers turn into points. Mason in motion. Brown nearly had to pressure the throw complete to Meyer. Meyer's out of bounds, and Alex Brown is asking for the sack.
Well, he should, because he got held big time out here on the edge. Watch here, and watch Matthews basically just tackle him. With the left shoulder there, now he's just going to grab that left shoulder and push him to the ground. He got away with one there because the referee is sitting back there with his eyes all over it.
Sometimes they see it, sometimes they don't. You know, as a former defensive lineman, Tim. 3rd down and 5. The dump off the Holcomb, intercepted. Michael Haynes, and Michael Haynes is going to score. How about that for a turn of events? So just when you think Tennessee's going to run the clock out, and Billy Bullock had one of these last week.
Well, when you get an opportunity and you're a depth guy and you come in, here's Haynes here at left end, you make the most of it. Here he is on Fred Miller, just going to get his hands up. Look at that concentration. Put the big left arm up, trying to get out to a swing pass, pulls it down, and now, how smart is that by R.W. McQuarters to hold off that block, and Haynes rummages in for a touchdown. This defense doing it again in the second quarter for the Bears.
I guess they figured if the offense couldn't get it done, well, we'll just have to score on defense, and they do.
That's the 4th touchdown of the year for this team defensively.
Edinger adds another one, so the Titans thinking they dodged the bullet in spite of 2 turnovers. But they're wrong, because Michael Haynes had different plans. The #1 pick last year out of Penn State. And Bullock had a 51-yarder return for a touchdown last week against Cincinnati.
Well,
that is a low percentage interception pass, but you got to throw it right. A short kickoff. Waddell takes it at the 20. Looking for the edge. Waddell with a nice return and good speed. Waddell is out to about the 50-yard line, 36 yards. And the Titans will have 10 seconds on the clock. And after that play, obviously a little upset.
Well, he knows, as we just talked about, that that's the last thing they want him to do, is have critical mistakes. And he threw those 3 interceptions, remember, in the Minnesota game, and said that wasn't him. He really wanted to learn from that game and step into his throws. And guess what? He didn't step into that throw and just lobbed that thing up there, and it was an easy pickoff for Haynes.
Hey, but they're going to throw it again. Should be the last play of the first half. Very close to it. Might have one more play
in the running game, because what that effectively is going to do is open things up in the play action for Krenzel. They haven't been able to play 2-dimensional yet.
Hendrick to kick away. Berrien comes back upfield. They fake the reverse, and it didn't do a whole lot. He's brought down at the 25-yard line by Rob Reynolds. And in the first half, the Bear defense knew they had to stop one guy, and they did it with the turnovers that all came in the second quarter. 2 turnovers, 2 fumbles by Chris Brown. And then the big interception, Michael Haynes rambled all the way down for the score. And really, when you thought the Titans were just trying to run out the clock. The backup defensive lineman, Anthony Thomas, alone in the backfield. He'll take the handoff, bouncing outside. A-Train, as we said earlier, starting to get a little rhythm going. And the Tennessee Titans, defensively, they've been all about 2 guys. Number 1, number 53, Keith Bullock.
Oh, he's been everywhere, and it's been him, it's been Albert Hainsworth, it's been Kevin Carter.
Yeah.
And when Bullock's been blitzing and Carter's been rushing the edge, these guys have made a lot of plays. And Kevin Carter comes here on this final sack here of the second quarter for their defense, knocks it loose, and that front 7 for Tennessee having a heck of a football game.
Pick up a 4 by Thomas. 9 tackles on the day for Keith Bullock. End around Berrien. Berrien with a little bit of speed, but it's shut down with a nasty tackle there by Kevin Carter. Let's go down to the sideline, check in with our reporter. Jay Glazer.
Guys, at halftime, Lovie Smith said, here's one of the things that we need more than anything, just to complete a few simple passes. We've got to get Craig Krenzel going with that. We have to get our running game going. But he also told his team, this is one of those respect games, and we have them right where we want them right now, guys. We're a team that's used to coming back in the second half. Let's go out there and take it. Jeff Fisher on the other side, he went out of his way to praise Chris Brown, saying he's still our guy. We've got to get him going as well. And Billy Volek, he said he'll be fine. Back to you.
He won't be fine. A couple more of those. He'll be out of here. 37. There's an errant throw. And Kevin Carter just bulldogged. We'll go back to Brown. Brown has given up the ball the last 2 series out in the second quarter. Holds on tightly here. Kevin Carter, as we mentioned earlier, has moved down now. A swing man, playing a little D tackle, playing a little D end. Did you ever do any of that?
Yeah, I did, and he can line up anywhere, and he's really been effective in rundowns, first down, second down, out on the edge at end. He's really helped solidify that, but then on the passing downs, he gets in one-on-one on that guard, and he's just been killing people.
2nd down and 7. They'll go again to Chris Brown. Let's go to L.A. for this update on Tampa Bay.
Hey, Ron and Tim and Jay, Brian Greasy helping the Bucs get back into it. Nice looking play action. Hooking up with tight end Ken Doger. 22-yard strike. Atlanta now. Hey, 17-14 Atlanta. We got us a game there. 6:55 in the third. Back to Ron, Tim, and Jay.
All right, JB, thank you.
Well, and Tampa has had their number over the last few years, too. And that Tampa team's got to scare you a little bit, starting to get some guys going offensively.
This is why the month of November is the month to watch football. 3rd and 7. Everything happens.
They got to get Mason more involved, Ronnie.
That won't do it. That will be a sack. Adewale Ogunleye, brought in from Miami on a trade. And he gets his 3rd sack of the year.
Here he is, going to go around Fred Miller. Just throws that rip in there. He just beat Fred up the field to a point, and that's what you do as a pass rusher. I mean, whether you're on the edge or you're at the line of scrimmage, you try to work a half a man, get to the half a man, get to one side of his body, and work on it. Ogunleye did it to Miller there, and basically once you get to that point, all that offensive tackle can do really is push you to the quarterback.
Hendrick to punt away. Nice kick. Wow, this will take McQuarters all the way back to the 25-yard line. That's one block. Gets away from another.
Got the wall.
McQuarters has got a lane. One man to beat. R.W. McQuarters to the 20, inside the 15, 10. Touchdown, Bears. No flags are down. 75 yards for R.W. McQuarters. He's got 4 career touchdowns, 2 punt returns. That's his 3rd.
Remember what I talked about with this team in the open character? I mean, it doesn't matter. They'll do it any way they can, whether it's got to be defense, special teams. They've got to pick up for the offense. They'll do that. McQuarters just does a good job of setting everybody up. They get the wall down to the right, and then he turns on the jets and outruns everybody.
And you've seen this time after time, and certainly the last 2 weeks from this Bear team. The defensive backs, the cornerbacks, are pulling double duty and making big plays.
Well, McQuarters has been on fire in punt returns for the last 3 weeks.
Jerry Azuma, he does it with interceptions and kickoff return. Coming out of the gate quick. Bears up by 7. The Bears hang in there, get a little love going in at half, and they come with a big play, and they go up 7 here in the 3rd. McCadley, he's got a lane. Jason McCadley out to the 43-yard line, and a Chicago Bear is hurt back upfield at the 22.
3 really good blocks. I want you to watch 26 Todd McMillan flash into your screen there. Great block. Now you've got the wall built out here. Watch the block by 59 Odom. And then you're going to have Corey Jenkins come up and get a good shot, too. And then now it's just McQuarters outrunning everybody. I thought Cody Spencer, 56, was going to get a track on him right here, and he just runs out of gas.
And did you see Bobby Wade back upfield earlier? He didn't block. That was the great block. He didn't clip when he was in a position to
Well,
clip.
we've seen that already a few times today on the Michael Haynes touchdown. McQuarters had an opportunity to put one on the back of Billy Bullock and held up.
Try to get an update on that when we can. 1st and 10, 2 tight end set for Billy Bullock and the Titans. Looks deep, throws short, the pressure's there, and we've got a flag down. Tommy Harris applied the pressure. They're calling it a right knee sprain as of right now. There's a throw, and that's why I don't agree with Billy Bullock being okay. He looks shaken up.
No question about that. And this defensive line, we talked about him being better up front. There he is, Tommy Harris. Watch him here. Look at that arm over on Jacob Bell. We've seen that a lot on film with Tommy Harris. I mean, he'll head fake you one way, come back the other, and he's got the quicks to get that arm over and then finish. You know, a lot of guys can beat people with an arm over, but the offensive line can recover and push him by. He's got the speed to accelerate and close that gap and finish to the quarterback.
14th player picked in the NFL draft this year. The scouting report said he was great with pressure in the gap and had acceleration off the move. We've seen it. Bullock in trouble. He's going to run with this. Being chased by Briggs. Green finally rolls him up out of bounds.
You want to see a holding call that absolutely is a hold and doesn't get called? We were just talking about Tommy Harris. Watch him here go by Jacob Bell. Bell's got to grab him. Otherwise, he's getting to Bullock. Look at Harris. Bull, rip. Now there's the hold. That just took a sack away from Tommy Harris, and Walt Anderson missed it.
Hey, Bullock wasn't staying in there to watch that movie. Said, I've seen that one before, folks.
It's a double feature, but they've been throwing in his face all day long.
3rd and 16, and the Chicago Bear defense, by special teams or by regular D, obviously is taking control of this football game. Pressure again. Bullock steps up, throws, drop. 4th down. Another big play, and the defense is off the field. Lance Briggs had a beat on that one. Intended for Shad Meyer.
Let's watch the stunt here with Tommy Harris. He's got Alex Brown coming inside. It takes time to figure out how to run those stunts. Basically, what you do is you switch responsibilities with your DN. He then had contain, and then Shad Meyer just tries to turn his head and run before he catches the football.
Yeah, he would have been well short of a 1st down anyway. Hendrick to punt, standing at his 20-yard line. R.W. McQuarters is deep. He just returned one for 75 yards if you missed it. Another high kick will give the coverage team a chance to get down. R.W. He's got another lane, and there goes R.W. He's got the player to beat. R.W., but a flag is down. A flag is down back at the 30-yard line. He'll score, but most likely that means a clip. 86 yards, and there it is.
Well, this is a ticky-tack call, if you ask me, on Corey Jenkins. Watch 53 flash into your screen right there. Is where he pushed McGarrahan in the back, which to me really had no bearing on McQuarters being open. He was already out to the edge. And they give him the call, and obviously
and the sad thing about it, Tim,
nullify the return.
If that return stands, 86 yards would have been a new franchise record, beating out Jeff Fisher's punt return record of 81 yards. Krenzel in trouble to throw. Misses David Terrell, and we've got a flag in the backfield. Jeff Fisher, back in 1984, with this punt return, that was 81 yards. That was the longest punt return in Bears history at the time. It still is, because that one by RW does not count. There's a nice throw and a nice catch. Bobby Wade showing up, and Bobby Wade is still rolling. Bobby Wade out of bounds at close to the 40-yard line. Driven out of bounds by Lamont Thompson.
He's going to run a little stop route here in front of the corner, who gives him a real big cushion. Look at that. Wade just going to get out and stop. And then this is where he can be effective after he catches the football. Little slip in there, breaks the tackle. And they'll tell you, I mean, we were talking to Mike Green and some of the defenders even on the Bears. They said the toughest cover is Bobby Wade. because he's so quick. He understands zones. He knows where to stop, knows where to get open, and then for what he can do after the catch, there's a good example of it there.
32 yards for Wade. Thomas. Titans bring down the extra safety, Tank Williams, to stop the run. And Jeff Fisher hasn't had much love going up against his old team, has he, Tim?
Well, you see there, 0-2 since he's been here.
All the old school guys nicknamed him the Guppy. It came from Buddy Ryan. And then, you know, once guys like the Fridge get a hold of it and everybody else. And Singletary, well, that's going to stick.
He was part of a great football team and a great defense, no question about that.
2nd down and 7. Fake the end around, give to Thomas. It'll bring up a 3rd down. 2 yards on the pickup. 3rd and 5 coming up.
This defensive line for Tennessee has played really well all day. Look at Hainsworth. I mean, he is taking Olin Cruz and just putting him 3 yards into the backfield. You see Cruz just going backwards on skates. What that allows to do is other guys just sit down and make the tackle.
3rd and 5. Titans show blitz. Are they faking? No, they bring it. Bears pick it up. Going deep to Berrien. Berrien looks the other way. Berrien was inside. The throw was outside.
To beat the team that you played for would be big for him. He hasn't been able to get it done in 2 tries, as we've talked about.
Chris Brown. And this defense has gathered up Chris Brown something fierce in the last 2 quarters.
And they've got the backups in there right now. You've got Tank Johnson and you've got Alfonso Boone. And both of those guys were just stiff right there at the point of attack. Tennessee had no chance of moving those guys off the football. They're so much better up front on the defensive line than they've been in a long, long time, since, in my mind, back to the Richard Dent and Steve McMichael, Trace Armstrong days.
Titans have 19 yards in the last 17 plays. Well, open, Bennett, and it's a catch. Todd Johnson makes the hit, but a big play to get him out of the hole, going to Drew Bennett.
And here's Bennett here. McQuarters has got him in man coverage, but watch Bennett adjust to the football. He's going to try to filter him back into the safety, but look at him curl right to the hash mark. You see that? That's what a quarterback thinks. I'm going to throw it down the hashes and let my receiver adjust. That's executed perfectly. The ball gets there right before the safety can get there over the top.
They'll pass again. Looking for Bennett again. He's got a step. But it's closed up quickly, and we've got a flag down. Azuma on the coverage. You're going to have to run awful hard to outrun Jerry Azuma.
What's that?
Because that's why we're seeing more 2 tight ends trying to add extra protection.
Check this out here. Yeah, you saw this blitz coming from outside is what happened.
Quarters fooled them. They run it back the other way. Brown with a nice run as he's just inside Bear territory, brought down by Lance Briggs.
Tackle by Lance Briggs.
Brown on pace for 1,600 yards rushing on the season, but today in the 2nd quarter, he self-destructed 2 fumbles.
2 big fumbles, too, down there with their backs against the wall. That was the killer. Fortunately for the Titans, Chicago was unable to take advantage of it offensively. They didn't get any points off of those 2 fumbles.
You don't get the feeling, Tim, being around the complex here in Tennessee, that they're sending greeting cards down to Dallas for Eddie George. You know, you didn't hear his name mentioned once. The deep ball, Nathan. Boy, and RW is lucky they threw that over the wrong shoulder, because he had at least 2 steps on McQuarters.
Well,
there's our ticker showing you some of the up to the 2nd stats. Krenzel takes over. Nothing happening there for Thomas.
They just can't block him. They can't block Albert Hainsworth up front. They can't. Football. Watch out.
Loss of 4 on the play before. Here's a handoff. That's to Thomas. And that'll bring up another long 3rd down.
You talked about Kevin Carter being into yoga,
Yeah.
and I asked him about it, and he says, yeah, I do it 2 times a week. He goes, seriously, it just gets my body right. You get out of alignment, I get in there, I knock it out, and I feel great on Sundays, and I really need it. And I'll tell you, if there's anybody on this team that is bigger in this community than Kevin Carter, he doesn't exist, because this guy has been tremendous here in Nashville.
3rd down and 15. There's the pressure. Krenzel in trouble already, and Krenzel will go down, and guess who? Kevin Carter. That's how you get sent home early.
That's right. You know what they do in film room on Monday? They applaud him if he doesn't make that block.
Right.
That way to play smart.
Nothing happening with Brown there. Tommy Harris. And this, if you like defense, folks, this is the game you want to stay tuned into. Started off all Tennessee. Mason, 29-yard touchdown reception. And then for Chicago, as they got things going, not being able to take advantage of 2 defensive turnovers, Michael Haynes intercepts the ball, goes 45 yards for the interception and the touchdown. And then coming out here in the second half, R.W. McQuarters goes 75 yards on the punt return. The pressure, the throw, complete to Holcomb. Holcomb is out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
We talked about when Brad Hopkins went out with the broken hand, and now watch Alex Brown right here come around the corner on the backup. And he just goes right around him again, working that half man on Jason Matthews. They can't stop him.
They can't block him.
They can't. He's just got too much speed.
They're having trouble blocking him outside, and they're having trouble blocking him inside. This has become a defensive front 4 game. The front 4s are dominating.
Absolutely. And I think we expected that coming into this football game. I mean, that's the first thing that jumps out on you in film are both of those defensive lines when you turn it on.
And if you're a coordinator with fairly young quarterbacks, you're scared to death. There's a deep shot, and it's caught by Berlin, the 3rd-string wide receiver, and he comes up with a big play. 26 yards and a first.
Well, this is the old fade stop where you get the guy going and then you throw it short, although I don't think Volek meant to do it. And that's exactly what happens. I mean, that was just an underthrown ball that was to the outside shoulder, and Berlin made a great adjustment to contort his body and go get it.
Vasher never saw the ball.
He didn't. It's because the ball was behind him.
Eddie Berlin, a 5th-round pick back in 2001 from Northern Iowa. Another play-action pass, nowhere to go. Dumps it down to Chris Brown. Brown working on Hillenmeyer, and Hillenmeyer, the local product from Vanderbilt, he dogs him for a short gain.
Especially with the 3 huge division games coming up on the road in the next 3 weeks, all within the AFC South.
2nd and 4, Bennett in motion. Throw complete. Shadmeyer, the tight end, and he's inside the 20-yard line. Briggs in on the coverage. Let's take a look at the 3rd quarter stats.
Well, and pretty even again. It's just been terrific defense here in the second half. Now this is the big one, 252 to 75 when you look at the total yards for the game. And it's been the turnovers that the Bears have been able to capitalize on, and getting the touchdown by Haynes and getting themselves in great position, and of course the punt return for R.W. McQuarters.
7 yards by Meyer. Brown's got a hole and tripped up. Almost had a big one. Let's go to Los Angeles and check in with JB for this update on the Atlanta Falcons.
Hey, Ron, Falcons thought they had a touchdown that wasn't called a touchdown, so what do? They come back. Michael Vick drills this bullet. The tight end, Algie Crumpler, 49 yards to pay dirt. Crumpler's first 100 yards receiving in his career. Falcons up 24-14, 9:49 left in the 4th. Back to Ron, Tim, and Jay.
Yeah, JB, that quarterback is pretty good, huh? Got to make things happen down there.
Well, I think Crumpler's the wild card. The more they get him involved, the better they're going to be.
Ooh, nice hit. As Brown looked for the cutback. Ian Scott, 4th rounder out of Florida last year.
Well, and here's what you do as a defensive tackle. Watch him here now. He's in charge of this gap in between the center and the guard. As that gap moves, he's got to stay up inside of it. See how he stays inside of the guard there? Now he's waiting
Perfect
for Chris
tackle.
Brown as he comes back into his running gap. You see how he stays in between the center and the guard no matter what? That's your A gap, even if it moves, and that's what they do here. They play gap control, take care of your house first, and everything will pay off and go off of that.
Chris Brown is a high runner. Gives you a lot to hit. 3rd down and 4. Looking for the slant. It's not there. It's intercepted. Urlacher, does he hold on? Is that a fumble? Let's see what they call it. Oh, boy. I got a feeling this could be.
They're saying he was juggling it the whole time and never had control.
Okay.
Bennett, watch him come inside. And Urlacher just undercuts it.
And we may have a challenge here, Tim. And
He looked
Lovie
like
Smith.
he took 3 or 4 steps before that ball got knocked loose.
He made.
Now let's see here if he's got this thing in his hands. He's still bobbling it. Seems like he's got it.
Oh no, that's
right there.
No.
He took at least 3 steps before he needed it out of his own hands.
No, because
that's an interception.
Yeah, because he acts as a receiver now. He's running with the football. So that tells the officials he has possession.
Okay, he's bobbling it there. Now he's got clear control of the football. There's 3 steps, 4 steps, and knees it out of his hands.
That's a fumble.
That's a pick. That's a pick and a fumble.
That's an interception and a fumble.
The Titans got a big break there.
Thomas grinds it out just beyond the 36-yard line. Pickup of 3.
This is what you want to do if you're Chicago. I mean, Krenzel is going to play it safe anyway and just manage the game. And you don't want turnovers now. Punts are okay. Touchdowns are okay. And that's what you tell your quarterback. You say, I want punts and touchdowns. That's it. Nothing in between. Everything else is good if we just do that.
2nd down and 7. The end around to Wade. And Wade has the 1st down. That ghost reverse or ghost play when they actually hand it off has been good for the Bears this year.
And here's the key right here, Antoine Odom out here at defensive end, because he's going to bite down inside. You see that? They caught him on an inside stunt. Once they had that, they had the edge. And now you got to just depend on Bullock and Tank Williams getting out there in the pursuit to stop that from being a huge game. That's the thing. You get that backside DN, Ronnie, slanting inside, and I'm sure they saw that upstairs and game planned it and schemed it to go that way.
Thomas again. Thomas will get stacked up. So both teams have not been able to do a whole lot on offense. Tennessee started off being able to get the ball to Derek Mason. They've since cooled that down, and I think the Bears secondary has helped cool it down along with the pass rush. But it's been about the special teams play and both defensive lines.
Right, special teams
side
and
of the ball
defense have been the story in this football game, and this defense now has got to take it upon themselves and continue to make big plays in this game.
2nd down and 10. Clark in motion. The slant inside, another drop, and a fine play by Samari Roll, intended for David Terrell.
Well, and another slant that David Terrell drops. And he's going to come here on a slant. He's going to get behind the linebacker Bullock and in front of the corner, Samari Roll. And it's a beautiful throw from Krenzel. Look at him zip that right into the window. And Roll was able to get his arm in there and pop that ball out. It's a terrific pass breakup by Samari Roll.
3rd down and 10. Going to Wade, way overthrown. Because the explanation we're getting is that the whistle had blown, even though we didn't hear one.
Well, I think that's the thing. I mean, the referee, the line judge, made the judgment that it was incomplete and blew his whistle. Therefore, it becomes an unreviewable play, and you can't challenge it. Let's listen and see if we hear a whistle.
Well, after the play and the interception, the apparent interception.
Again, the judgment by the line judge to call it incomplete coupled with the whistle, makes that unchallengeable, and that's what Walt Anderson was over talking to Lovie Smith about.
Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
No matter how you cut it, a huge break for the Titans.
Huge break for the Titans. And the Titans will be faced with another 3rd down, 3rd and 3 coming up. Check that 3rd and 2.
3rd and 3, 31-yard line.
They have not gotten enough footballs to their tight ends. I mean, this is a huge tight end football team. And Aaron Kinney, I know, has been lost for several weeks. He's gotten some play today, but Ben Troop, Shad Meyer, not a lot of balls thrown their way. Here's Troop right here.
He just checked in. That's Kinney in motion. Going to backside, intended for Drew Bennett, and it's incomplete. So the Titans will punt it away.
You look at the standings right there, it's huge for Tennessee. And you look at what the other teams are doing, and they've got to get it going. Now, they're going to go to all 3 of those places, Jacksonville, Houston, and Indy in the next 3 weeks. All 3 of those games on the road. And guess what? Tennessee already 0-3 in the division.
Mm-hmm. And it's huge on the other side as well. Chicago in the very similar boat. Green Bay at 4-4 will lock up with Minnesota later on. Squibber, McCorders, he's already returned 1 today. Bounces back inside. He's down at the 32-yard line. Eddie Berlin, backup wide receiver, hustles down for the tackle. 45-yard punt, 12-yard return. High formation. Thomas and Johnson. Thomas looking for the edge. He got a couple. Let's go down. Is there a fumble? Titans say they have the football. Let's wait. No sign from Walt Anderson yet.
The ruling on the field, the runner is down by contact, the 2nd down.
Down by contact. You make the call, Tim Ryan.
Well, let's see what happens here. He's still got the ball there, It did look like his rear end was on the ground before that ball came loose. Good call by the umpire. Because you'll see the umpire flash in and call it down on the right side of your screen. It didn't look like it from that angle. The other angle, you could tell that his rear end, his backside was on the ground.
2nd and 6. A-Train again. If A-Train is very close to the first, he may have it. Let's go down to the sideline and check in with Jay Glazer.
Ron, these last 8 minutes are huge for Lovie Smith in the motivational speaking department. Last night, he gathered the team together, and he said, guys, after you start 1-5, it's like we're no longer in the NFL. And then you win one game, people are like, it's a fluke. Then the next game, they say it's a bad team. This is the game, if we can win this one, that gets us back to respectability inside the NFL. Suddenly, we're back if we win. Back to you guys.
All right, Jay, thank you. And that's what Lovie said last night. So people don't respect the Chicago Bears. It's not because of the players and the franchise. He said it's because of me as a first-year head coach.
Well, you got to earn it. And he's a first-year head coach. He's got a very young staff. And I'll tell you one thing, this team plays tough.
Going deep to Berrien. Intercepted. Dyson, his 2nd of the day. And Dyson is looking for the return. To the 30. He's still going. Finally brought down by Thomas and a flag at the 35-yard line. 3 flags.
Krenzel has not been sharp in this game at all.
That was just a poorly thrown ball.
He's got man coverage. You got to feed it to your receiver to the middle of the field.
See, Lovey's are down, so he's in control of it. He's relaxed and calm.
He's always relaxed.
He's up by 4. So they'll reset it. Bowl it to the deep comeback to Mason. And he's wide open as R.W. McCorder slips.
Well, and this is what they got to do. They got to get Mason back involved. Remember the first quarter when they got that touchdown, they had Derek Mason involved in the game plan.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if they were double covering him or putting the clamps on him or brackets. It doesn't matter. They were getting the ball to 85. Eventually, he got it in the end zone. They need to go back to the well here in the last 7 minutes of the game.
Derek Mason saw the Pro Bowl last year.
He's just so good, and he bursts in and runs such good routes. He's got guys slipping all over the place back there in the secondary.
At a career high of 95 catches. Play action. They'll throw it again to Mason again. Now he just runs the deep curl.
See what I'm saying? You've got to respect his speed. And R.W. McCorders has been doing this all day. They're going to be matched up one-on-one. He's going to come and just stop. Puts the brakes on. He's just so good in and out of those breaks, isn't he? I mean, he gets low. That's the thing. When you got to go down and stop, you got to sink those hips and get them low and then turn around and come back to the football. Well executed by Mason. That's hard to cover.
Talk like you played a little corner somewhere along the line.
I've just been listening to you, dog. That's all.
16 yards on the pickup. Third straight pass of the series. The dump off to Brown. Brown can't hold on.
I think his confidence has been shaken, Ron.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yep.
He would have had a headache had he kept up with the football.
And you can tell that it looks like that toe's starting to bother him too, because he's got a hitch in his giddy up. But I think after those 2 fumbles in the first half, it's been hard for him to shake that loose mentally. And you can just tell by his body language. I mean, he's got his head down, and when he came into the meetings, this guy's so lively and jovial. He's got a smile on his face. I mean, you can tell mentally he's down in the dumps right now.
He's going to have that mental toughness. Say what you want to about Eddie George. He had that. Bullock, the pump and go. Look at the time. Drew Bennett wide open. Can he catch up to it? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Titans. No flags down. And it all started, Tim Ryan, with the protection. Way too much time.
That's right.
For Bullock.
Azuma is very explosive back there for the Bears.
Venture kick, Azuma. Azuma bounces outside, tries to keep going. He's rounded up at about the 26, 27-yard line. And the scoring today went a little like this. Early in the first, Mason, 29-yard touchdown catch. He got his dance on. And then Michael Haynes took this one back for the touchdown. He almost celebrated too early. But that was the spark that led to this spark. R.W. McQuarters, 75-yard punt return. Second longest in Bear history. And the Bears went up. And you just saw Drew Bennett. Too much time. The out and up. And the Titans go up by 3. And the ball was loose. Picked up. The Bears recover the ball. Steve Edwards, the left tackle.
Oh, man. Randy Starks goes right around Steve Edwards at right guard. And again, we've seen a lot of the good swim moves here, and I want you to watch number 90, who's right here. He's going to come outside of the guard and get right by him. Remember how I talked earlier? Now watch him close the gap on the quarterback.
Oh, my goodness.
Swats that ball loose. That counts as a sack and a forced fumble for the rookie Randy Starks. Man, these defensive lines on both sides of the ball have been super today.
Bears down by 3 here in the fourth. They'll go to the run. They'll keep it safe. And they won't get much long in there along with Keith Bullock.
And it's Starks again that gets inside. I mean, he presses up inside this A-gap between the center and the guard. Watch him get back here, and this play is going nowhere. Look at him take it inside. And he's able to get down and get a foot on Anthony Thomas, and then the linebackers come and fill. Now this rookie can get it going now. That's great value for a third-round pick to get him in here and have an impact like this in his rookie year.
Very quick. He played a defensive end in the 34 defense in college, where you need the quickness and acceleration. Third down. Rough today for the Bears. Krenzel in trouble already. He's still rolling. Looking for Terrell. What? Oh! Terrell drops another one.
He dropped it. He dropped it.
And he had a huge third down conversion that not only would have moved the chains, Tim Ryan, but would have put the Bears in Tennessee
what
territory.
I said. When Krenzel makes great throws, guys aren't catching it. And it's been David Terrell at least 3 times today. Look at all the work that Krenzel's got to do to escape traffic. Now he's just going to put up a prayer, hoping that Terrell can come back and get it. Look at this. Right in his arms, and he drops it.
I told you I took the class with him, and he does pretty good for a big man.
Notice they don't have Chris Brown in the
That's
football
Antoine
game.
Smith, right.
Notice they don't have Chris Brown out there with two fumbles in the first half. Now they're going with Antoine
This will be
Smith.
first charge timeout.
Chicago calls timeout.
Alex Brown has been all over the place. I mean, the whole thing with him defensively at right end was he was a good pass rusher, but was limited in the run game.
Yeah.
And I asked Lovey about him last night. I said, how is he in the run defense? He goes, he is what he is, but he's better than people think. I said, does he have that talent like Leonard Little had in St. Louis where you were? And he said, he's not there, but he's almost there. And he's got tremendous speed and great work ethic. That's the big thing. Great work ethic. And I think he's got a contract up, right?
Mm-hmm. He is a restricted free agent at the end of the year, which means he'll have to take that offer sheet around to other teams, and the Bears will have the right of first refusal versus the offer sheet. I gotta believe it's cha-ching for Alex Brown.
I think so too, because he just fits the mold perfectly for what Lovey wants to do on defense. Small, fast defensive end.
2nd down and 8. Time to waste the clock now for the Tennessee Titans.
Going to stay in bounds.
And he does. They're up by 3. As Brown, as we just talked about him, a little slow to get up.
He'll be going head-to-head here in just a little bit. It's a huge 3rd down for the Bears on defense.
It is. 3rd and 4. The Bears bring pressure. Smith. Will he get it? No. So the Bears defense does once again what they had to do. They force the punting situation for Tennessee.
And watch Brian Urlacher run down the running back, Antoine Smith, and then throw him backwards to make sure he doesn't fall forward and pick up the 1st down. He is so rangy, isn't he? Urlacher, just how he can go sideline to sideline. An absolute must-win for this football team.
And this is an absolute must-drive with some kind of score for the Bears. Krenzel steps up, throws, a catch, Clark. And Clark rambles all the way down to the 44-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. 24 yards on the pickup. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears are next 3 games. They'll have Indianapolis at home. That'll be a good one. And then they'll go on the road, come back at home against the Jets.
Well, it's going to be fun watching this defense against Peyton Manning and how they adjust. Good job that last play. Krenzel buying time, keeping his eyes down the field and getting it to his tight end. He's got to make plays, Ronnie. This is it.
They'll hand it off to Thomas. Thomas stuck immediately.
I don't like that call. I don't like that call.
The middle linebacker makes the play. All right, JB, thank you very much. The Jets having some trouble staying consistent. Krenzel, middle of the field, intended for Dustin Lyman, and he's lucky that one wasn't picked.
And they had 3 guys around Dustin Lyman, 2 in the immediate vicinity. Krenzel's just going to take a shot here, and you have to. I mean, you're at this point in the game, you have to. And there's Lyman. Watch him here, and watch the 2 safeties around him. See them both converge on the ball.
The Bears 2 of 14 today on 3rd down, 3rd and 10. Got Berrien with a catch, but he's hit hard, and he won't have the 1st. This is 4-down territory, obviously. Nice hit by Tank Williams.
Yeah, that's what a 230-pound safety will do to you.
This may very well be it for the Bears if they don't convert here on this 4th and 1.
I'll tell you this, if there's nobody open down the field with his receivers, Krenzel's got to take off and run this one by himself.
Call it 4th and 2 officially. The slant. Terrell catches this one, and it couldn't have been a bigger catch. Now they're in the hurry up. A man is hurt for Tennessee. It looks like Williams, the safety. And the Titans medical staff hits the field. Edinger.
He's already, that's I think his career long.
That is his career long. He hit from 52 this year already versus San Francisco. Down the seam, Wade has it. And Wade is inside the 20-yard line. Brought down by Lamont Thompson. The Bears have 1 timeout left. Plenty of time. They don't need to burn it yet.
What a dart by Krenzel.
What a catch by Wade.
Oh, right on the money.
And they'll throw it down to stop the clock.
Looked like Wolfhook in man coverage on Wade right here in the slot. He's just going to beat him down the seam. See that? He gets inside leverage, and then look at the throw. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. That's all.
They caught him in those zones. Good job of working against the zone. Krenzel on this drive, 4 of 6 for 65 yards. And David Terrell came up with a big 4th and 2 catch.
Take a shot at the end zone. Try to get out of here with a W.
Looking. He's out of the pocket, and he can do that. Won't have to worry about flags.
Just throw it away.
3rd down.
His best drive of the ball game, no question about it.
Justin Gage in the slot. They'll hand it off. Looks like they're setting it up for the field goal. The A-train. They know exactly what hash they want to put it on. Remember, Paul Edinger missed earlier today from 39 yards. He pushed it to the left. And here is that miss in the second quarter.
That, too, was from the left hash, where he is right now.
That's why I'm not quite sure I understand it, but that's where he wants it. That's where it's going to be. And a final timeout taken by Tennessee.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget about the great opportunity to share special.
And that is Tennessee's final timeout.
Going to ice Edinger.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. Trying to ice Edinger and then obviously give themselves some time up here for a return.
That's why it surprises me a little bit. I mean, maybe hold on to the timeout and give yourself a chance for the run for 50 seconds left. You know,
Well, and Heinrich, he went for a 58-yarder earlier. Remember, had plenty of leg on that, barely off the mark.
But this is for the tie with 56 seconds left. 29 yards for Edinger. Clean hold, it's up, and it's true. So, Craig Krenzel is perfect on the drive. 4 for 6 for 65 yards. A great catch by David Terrell. They move the chains on a 4th and 2.
Can't measure. That's why he was a winner at Ohio State. Took him to a national championship.
24 and 3 in 2 years as a starter.
Numbers may not look good, but he gets it done when he has to.
McCadley, he's out across the 25, does a spin close to the 30-yard line. And that's where Volek and company will set up. 23 yards on the return. 45 seconds left. Tennessee has no timeouts.
It's like McMillan is down.
McMillan is down. He's up. And off the field. Well, he got knocked down once, got back up. Sometimes your own guys can hurt you.
Friendly fire, baby. It happens all the time. Guys flying around out there.
Holcomb splits out wide. Big wide open. Do you believe that? No timeouts. They'll have to hurry up. Volek will have to clock this one. 31 seconds, 30 seconds, no timeouts. And that'll stop the clock.
Well, and remember, they've got to get it close now for Gary Anderson. You've got Hendrick who can kick the long ones. Gary Anderson kicks the short ones. Boy, what a throw. Did you see him split those defenders in the zone? Looks off the safety, looks the other way, and then just throws the strike back into that little window of the zone.
A career day for Drew Bennett. 6 catches for 148 yards. Here comes the pressure. The safe throw to Holcomb. They're a little bit closer. They'll have to hurry up again.
They got to get their offensive lineman.
And there's a Bear back up field, slow to get back to the line of scrimmage.
See Ogunleye? He realized, I better get back across. He just hurdles the line.
He got healthy quick.
Look at that.
That 5 yards.
He's hurt now. He's got that bad ankle. Look. Now he realizes, I got to get back over.
Well, that was sweet.
He split the gap here. That's how you split a double team, Ron.
Craig Hendrick will now come on and attempt a field goal with 8 seconds left. He's got a career long, you see it there, of 49. This will be from 52 for the game winner. And it's blocked. And if the Bears are smart, they will stay away from it. And Lovie Smith is happy. Special teams, once again, Tim Ryan, is huge. But that's no surprise there because his last field goal attempt came out low as well.
Well, when you're going for a long one, that's what you got to do. And who is it that gets their hands up inside? Oh, that's big Mark Colombo that gets that. They just activate this guy for the first time in about 2 years, and he goes up and gets the block of the game. Watch big 75 at nose guard get his hands up. That's where that 6'8" comes in handy.
They cut Mike Gandy, activate Colombo, expecting Colombo maybe to get some playing time at the left tackle position for Kasim Mitchell. But hey, they got their worth out of him, didn't they?
You got to get something out of your number 1 draft pick, right? Remember, he was a number 1 pick a couple years ago and came in and had a catastrophic knee injury. They talked about him possibly retiring. He's fought back and active today, and it pays off.
Bears will get the ball when we come back. Overtime, Bears, Titans. You got to love it. Here are the overtime facts. 5 overtime games through week 9. 4-1 for the team winning the coin toss.
Well, and you knew Hendrick was going to kick it low because of his last kick, and then big 75, Mark Colombo, look how high he is, and just gets his hand on that ball and just bats it down. That had no chance. Look how fired up he is. That's good stuff.
Just a reminder, all replays must come from the booth upstairs. They cannot come from the sideline. Azuma will start things off here in OT. He heads up the sideline. Pushed out of bounds just beyond the 25-yard line. Don't forget the double header here on Fox. The Vikings taking on the Packers. Many of you will see that. The Giants and the Cards. Jacksonville and Detroit in OT.
See that right there.
Yep. Craig Krenzel, 51 yards passing before the last drive. 65 on that last drive alone.
Seemed like getting into the ball to his tight end, Desmond Clark, got him in that groove.
Thomas with a big run. He's out close to the 35, beyond the 35-yard line. Let's go to Los Angeles and check in with JV.
Hey, Ron, Minnesota Green Bay expected to be a duel indeed. So far, yes. Dante Culpepper answering back to the Green Bay score, hooking up their 13-yard pass to Jermaine Wiggins. First opening drive touchdown of the season for the Vikes. We're knotted at 7. Back to Ron, Tim, and Jay, and you will see this game at the conclusion of yours.
Look at that last drive compared to the first 14 drives for Krenzel.
Thomas looking for the corner again with a cutback.
Well, you remember last week with Anthony Thomas, he had that 41-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter against the Giants to seal it.
Yeah.
And he feels like he's that kind of back that gets stronger as the game goes on. And here we are in OT. This should be his time.
Andre Dyson, the Tennessee cornerback, he is down at about the 50-yard line.
Well, and they're already without Tank Williams back there, so they got Scott McGarrahan. So now you could possibly have 2 backups out there in the secondary.
Came up with a big catch in that 4th and 2. When you were talking about Anthony Thomas last week against the New York Giants, he had 110 yards rushing.
And that was the one early in the game. Then you see him take off. That was that 41-yarder, as I talked about in the 4th, that sealed it.
One of his 2 touchdowns on the day. You look at his first half and his second half, kind of the same deal. He just keeps chugging along.
That's what you got to like about it. And I got to give Lovie Smith, Terry Shea a lot of credit for staying committed to the running game and trying to take pressure off of Craig Krenzel. And again, the more you run Anthony Thomas, the more he wears you down, the better chance he's going to get to break one. And you can see he's starting to break tackles here late in the game.
15. Krenzel 2-0 as a starter coming into today's game, looking for 3-0. Thomas looking for the edge again. Still working on Dyson on the sideline.
And they got Donnie Nicky back there, and they've got Scott McGarrahan right there, number 42. Backups back in the secondary. See if Krenzel can take advantage of them with that receiving core. They've started to find their groove here late in the ball game there in the fourth quarter.
2nd down and 9. Wade, the end around. He's got a little room, needs a block. And he takes a hit. Andre Wolf
they don't get Kevin Carter here like they did Odom earlier. Here's Carter out here. Watch him get upfield, keep his shoulders square. Now he's just got to run down the line of scrimmage and try to get in on this. And then he goes and splashes Wade with that 300 pounds.
6 yards on the pickup. That'll bring up 3rd down.
That's a tough play for a 300-pound man out in space like that when you're trying to track down a speedy wide receiver that you outweigh by about 100 pounds.
3rd down and 3. 3rd and 3, the Bears will go with only 1 wide receiver in the game. 2 tight ends set. They'll throw on it. Looking for Clark, the tight end. He's open. And Krenzel misses him.
He had him, too. He had him. He is open. They're trying to pick on the backup safeties, and here he is. Watch him get out on McGarrahan and just run to the corner, run to the sideline.
Oh,
I mean, he is so wide open.
You see Castle there in that throwing lane a little bit, but got to be closer
than that. He knew he had him, too. Krenzel knew he had him and just didn't make the good. Krenzel couldn't come up with any points, and Edger missed the field goal.
Green Bay and Minnesota underway, 7-7. There's a tip. Mike Green very close to intercepting that ball tipped by Ian Scott. Called his name a couple times today.
Oh, he's a good player. I like Ian Scott. He's a guy that wasn't even supposed to make the team. He was just battled and got in there with some guys got hurt, and now they can't get him off the field. Just one of those blue-collar lunch pail guys that you know is going to show up every down.
Aaron Kinney sets up in the back with a block. Almost sacked is Billy Bollick. Technically, it ends up being a sack, but
well, Hunter Hillenmeyer has him here from the outside. Watch him come. And he's got him, but just gets pushed off at the last second by the offensive lineman. Bollick's able to escape. And it's not as big of a loss as it should have been.
Yeah, technically it is a sack.
Yeah, that's still going to be a sack because he went down from Hunter Hillenmeyer touching him.
Hillenmeyer picked up on waivers from Green Bay. And from the practice squad to a starter making a big play here at home.
Another guy who probably wasn't supposed to make the team and got to play some middle linebacker because of Urlacher being out.
Ball is loose. That could be a safety. That is a safety.
This game's over.
And the Bears win it.
And who wins it for the Bears? The defense. How apropos is that? Is that just fitting? Wow. Wow. Watch Agunleye right here, 93. Falls inside. And he and Alex Brown have been all over the place today. They get that ball loose. They get the safety. Game over. The defense wins it for the Chicago Bears.
Ron Pitts, Tim Ryan, Jay Glazer, so long from Nashville. The final, Chicago 19, Tennessee 17. Many of you will see Minnesota and Green Bay. For more info and the latest in NFL news, log on to foxsports.com. So long, everybody.